Who would want to be in a game where you just get insulted for not playing exactly how this player wants you to play? It's part of the result of this toxic atmosphere. Because I want to let you guys know a little secret about Fault, all you competitive players. Let me show you a little something. Can I get a gank? Can I... Shut the fuck... S.O.S. or YES.M.S. Hi, I'm J Pie. I'll be your host for today's episode. Welcome, welcome. We have a lot in store for you today. Not only do we have the Steam numbers, we have some other numbers and also some elephants in the room that I would like to address. So without any further ado, let us begin. So as we can see here in the month of June, we have a percent gain of negative 15.41. The average players fell down to 154.9. The peak players fell down to 311. Simply put, June was a bad month. Patch 13 in the month of May was not the reversal of a trend. It was simply an uptick. The player base is still continuing to bleed out. It's still dwindling and it is still getting lower and lower each and every day. I took these figures here from Sully Gnome. At the top you have May and at the bottom you have June. And all in all, just negatives on every single metric. Approximately 17,000 less hours watched, approximately 1,100 less hours broadcasted. You have about 24 less viewers, 2 less channels broadcasting. Max viewers are 60 less, and you have about 17 less broadcasters. So again, June has just been another decline month. It's just the continuation of the trend we've seen since early access. And so the short of it is, for this month, it is a complete and total SOS. That is a bit of a disappointment, especially considering how well Fault did last month. However, there's still time, so hopefully things will improve. I would like to address the elephants in the room that I mentioned earlier. Basically, what I see as the biggest problems with Fault. Number one is the bugs. I'm going to make a video showcasing some of the bugs. Some of them have been there since closed beta, which is almost 2 years, which it's a huge issue in my eyes. The second is obviously the size of the player base, because it's tiny. That's a huge issue in this game too. But the third is the community itself. And because the size of the player base is so small, when you have people be aggressive, mean, toxic, especially towards new players, it is magnified. Because in other MOBAs, the competitive players, or like the competitive scene rather, the ones who are the cream of the crop, the strongest players, the most knowledgeable and effective players in the entire game, only make up less than 1%. And now Fault has a lot of people who want to be that portion for a third-person MOBA that is like this. But when you only have maybe 200 concurrent players, it's not 1%. These competitive players comprise anywhere from 3 to 25% of the active player base. And when I see them be mean to new players, it's no surprise why the new players drop off. Who would want to be in a game where you just get insulted for not playing exactly how this player wants you to play, or you didn't make the perfect play at the prime moment that you had to, and then you have some person just spewing hatred, toxicity, and all this BS towards you. And if it happens to me, it also happens to everybody else. Because I see it happen to new players too. I've been a part of a game where the player says, this is my first game, I have no idea what I'm doing. And obviously they underperform. And then the team rips them apart. And so I want to take this opportunity to as a public service announcement, defend new players every step of the way. Tell these toxic minded individuals to step off. The new players are learning. And if you are one of those toxic individuals, then just please understand, when you have a less experienced player and you see something that they're doing that they can greatly improve upon, there is a way, like maybe that game is lost because of what that player did. So it's done already. So why don't you take this as an opportunity to teach them? Because there's a world of difference between A, hey idiot, why'd you get this item? This item sucks. Or B, oh hey, by the way, Quantum Shift on Countess is really, really good as a first item. Try it next game. Because these are the moments where the actions and words we use and take have a ripple effect. You know, what if you approached that new player and told him, hey, Quantum Shift is a great first item, and then he's like, thanks. The next game he plays Countess much better, and then he gets better, and he's enjoying it more now that he's performing better, and he's playing more games now, and then he encounters a newer player, and then he takes that same approach. I get MOBAs are, toxicity is ingrained into the fabric of MOBAs. I get that. I understand it completely. But when you have such a tiny player base as you do in Fault, there is a reason why the reputation of Fault is what it is. Toxic. That's the reputation. And we have to do better. As a community, it starts with us. Let's take responsibility and just try to create a more positive environment. Because I want to let you guys know a little secret about Fault, all you competitive players. Let me show you a little something. You see that right there? Hey, look, what does it say? What does it say? Casual. This game is not a competitive game. It's not. No matter how competitive you are, you can be competitive with it, but in its current state, it's not competitive at all. It is so far removed from being anything that can be considered competitive, just due to all the bugs and everything, and the inconsistency issues. So please understand that. New players, they don't even know like a fraction of what you know. And how we as a community respond here is going to dictate the course of the community. Because just take a look at the game, it's bleeding out. The communities on Twitch, YouTube, bleeding out. And it's part of this, it's part of the result of this toxic atmosphere. We have to change this, or this game's just gonna die. It's just gonna die in time. And the community is absolutely part of the equation too. Yeah, S.O.S has its own issues, but you know, we have to be patient. Software development takes time. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt for now. They're hiring a lot of people. They've opened up maybe like 5 positions recently in the past month, which is huge. These people, if they're talented, they can clean up a lot of these bugs and a lot of these things. So we have to be patient with S.O.S, and we have to take responsibility and control of what we have control over. And part of that is the community, the atmosphere of the community, when new players come in and what they see and are exposed to. Because I hate going into a stream and seeing an experienced player, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of games, and then a player is underperforming, and then players just typing like, oh, no gamers, get me out. Jungle diff. Can I get a gank? Can I? Shut the fuck up, everybody. I shouldn't have cursed, okay. Everyone's trying their best, okay? Just because you type your putrid nonsense doesn't change that fact. Nobody's going into the game and thinking, I'm just gonna lose because losing's fun. Nobody's doing that. Everyone's trying. It just, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out. So you know what you do? You just buckle down and you push forward as much as you can. You win as a team and you lose as a team. So guys, thank you again for joining me on this episode of S.O.S. or YES.M.S. Next month, we will have our third episode too, and hopefully it'll be with better news. And please, guys, if you're out there and you see somebody bullying a new player, stand up for them. Thank you.